What's good, family? Welcome back to the channel. In this video right here, we have Janet Jackson reveals why Michael Jackson's death was planned. Now, before we hop into this video, I want to show you guys something. Now, Michael Jackson was one of the most global celebrities during a period in time. And not only that, he had a lot of influence. And with this influence, he actually began to speak out against the elites and the companies that were running the music industry. Specifically Sony right here. We have right here, it says, what was Michael Jackson trying to say about Sony? It says they try to control Michael Jackson and the work he was putting out, as well as already released. In Michael's eyes, they were self-serving and two-faced. And now the catalyst on how everything started is because he was expecting the rights to his song, but Sony went behind Michael Jackson's back, using the lawyer that Michael Jackson had hired to actually extend the copyright so that he never ends up owning his songs. Long story short, Michael Jackson ends up coming out, and basically it says Michael Jackson alleged that the chairman and CEO of Sony, Tommy, was a devil and a racist. This is what Michael Jackson said. Now, these are like the protests that he was doing against Sony. And he's making it very clear. So now, when knowing this right here on how such an influential person is speaking out against such a large company, and the CEO specifically, do you think that this death would be planned? Let's see in this video right here.
Do you blame Dr. Murray for your brother's death?
Yes, I do. He is the one that was administering the drug, as from what I do know. So I do.
So, Michael Jackson's death at his Los Angeles mansion was attributed to an OD of propofol, a surgical anesthetic used in operating rooms. And yes, Michael Jackson's personal doctor, Conrad Murray, was found guilty of involuntary manslaughter for his part in MJ's death, and he even served 2 years in prison. But trust me, it's not as simple as that.
Your Honor, I am an innocent man. I therefore plead not guilty.
Okay, Murray, if you say that you are innocent, were you the fall guy? Because from where everyone is standing, things are still not adding up. Who really is responsible for MJ's death? And why was he being set up to die literally for years? Well, his family members are still seeking answers and a proper explanation for what really happened to MJ.
I'm sorry, Robin. I know, because I keep saying the same thing. I couldn't, but it's still to this day, it's still so difficult for me to believe.
Janet Jackson definitely feels like MJ's death may have been a setup, but she's not the only family member who believes that. MJ's sister LaToya did also spill that there was definitely something fishy about her brother's death.
I truly feel that Conrad Murray is simply the fall guy. This was definitely something that was premeditated, that they had planned to do, and they planned to take my brother out, and my brother knew it. And that's why he told me repeatedly that this was going to happen to him.
According to LaToya, the explanation Michael gave her for thinking someone was after him was that they were after his catalogs.
He explained it to me. He explained it's because of my catalog, which is my publishing, and they're after it, and they want it, and they want their hands on it, and they want to take it away from me. So Michael developed this love-hate relationship with his catalog.
Not the first time.
This is exactly why he came out and called him a devil. These people are money hungry. The industry is vicious. They're demons, greedy, everything. All it is just for a catalog. And Michael Jackson was saying it before it even happened.
Toya said that, by the way. In an interview with CNN, she also made it very clear that she knew the death was planned.
Because first of all, Michael told me that they were going to murder him. He was afraid. He was afraid for his life.
According to LaToya, when Michael walked in the house that fateful night, whoever it was that greeted him, he knew that his end was upon him. And as soon as he had passed, some of the very people he had expressed suspicions about started controlling his estate. In fact, she wasn't scared to drop a couple of names, one of them being Dr. Tomei, who managed Michael's affairs towards the end of his life. Apparently, as soon as Tomei began acting as Michael's business advisor, he fired key people who had been close to Michael for years. And once Tomei shut out the rest of the world, he was able to steer Michael toward business ventures that were profitable for him and his friends. Sounds like somebody had an agenda, right? And if you ask LaToya, she will tell you that Michael Jackson's only daughter, Paris, also believes her father was unalived.
And I just wanted to say I love him so much.
In fact, in her book, Starting Over, LaToya wrote about Paris's description of her father's final days, which were, Daddy was always cold. Daddy was always freezing. He would sit and fall asleep by the fireplace. He would always cry, and we would watch to make sure everything was fine. And he needed a doctor, and then they turned the lights out. We were in the dark, and they cut the phones off. On Paris's description of her father's last words to her,
like,
LaToya...
A lot of people think being a celebrity, having all the fame, all the money, it like makes people happy. But at the end of the day, it comes with just a different circumstance that you have to really be careful for. Because now he has like a lot of fake people around him trying to take him down.
They also wrote, Prince and I were arguing, and Daddy said, stop fighting with your brother. I'm not always going to be here, and you're going to have to be the lady and watch over him. As for what Paris herself said, she was asked in an interview with Rolling Stone whether she believed the death was a setup, and this was her answer. Absolutely, because it's obvious. All arrows point to that. It sounds like a total conspiracy theory, and it sounds like BS, but all real fans and everybody in the family knows it. It was a setup. Then when asked who she thought might have wanted her father dead, she replied, a lot of people. Paris also added that she hopes to one day get answers that will at least provide some justice for her dad, saying, I definitely do want justice, but it's a chess game, and I am trying to play the chess game the right way. And that's all I can say right now. I mean, for all these family members to say that MJ's death was a setup, there's definitely something there. Other than the family members who've made it clear that it was all a setup, another person who has openly suggested that the death was definitely planned was Kanye West. Of course, we all know him for his very controversial Twitter rants, and in one of them, he was like, MJ told you about Tommy before they him. Kim saved my daughter's life in the name of Jesus. It's God's choice only. I will live for my children, Chris. I'm in Cody if you're not planning another one of your children's Playboy shoots. Kanye was definitely referring to MJ's bitter feud with former Sony CEO Tommy Mottola, who worked with him from his 1991 Dangerous album to the release of Invincible 10 years later. It didn't quite end well, and MJ himself even called him out.
The record companies really do
That's a very bold statement. Michael Jackson is making it the most clear thing ever. There was even a poster here. Look, let me show you guys this post right here. Michael Jackson made it very clear. It says Sony kills music. The reason being is that you have many talented artists that come to these companies that are genuinely talented, and they have this creativity level. But then once these companies start just shutting it down and making everything like not enjoyable anymore, it's just ruining it.
MJ himself even called him out.
The record companies really do conspire against their artists. They steal, they cheat, they do whatever they can, especially the black artists. Sony, Tommy Mottola. Tommy Mottola is the president of the record division. He is a mean, he's a racist, and he's very devilish.
MJ also said in 2002 when he was in London,
I own half of Sony's publishing and I'm leaving them, and they're very angry at me because of it, but I just did good business, you know.
This is insanely revealing.
So, the way they get revenge. And Tommy Mottola is a devil.
You know, I personally wouldn't be surprised if Tommy had anything to do with MJ's death, because these devilish acts weren't just on MJ. Like, he does have a record of being nasty to a couple of people.
Bro, he did not just say it once, he said it multiple times. Michael Jackson.
The music industry. The thing is, most of them have never been open, but MJ calling him out on several occasions, just imagine what Tommy would do to such a person. Anyway, other than claims that people who wanted to control MJ took him out, of course, there have also always been claims that MJ was taken out by the Illuminati. Apparently, he became a target in 1984 when he purchased publishing rights for much of the Beatles' back catalog. And because that acquisition and several others gave him too much power, he was on the hit list to be unalived. Based on reports, he further angered the Illuminati with the video for his song, Black or White, which is said to have demonstrated his rebellion against the secret society. The reports then further went on to claim that members of the Illuminati tried to get rid of MJ by setting up false allegations about him hooking up with children. And when the trial failed to go their way, the Illuminati planned his death. Honestly, if that whole Illuminati thing is a lie, then consider the possibility that the people who wanted his catalogs came up with all those allegations about him taking advantage of children when they failed to control him. Then they set him up to die and probably used Dr. Murray. And I know that money was definitely involved if the death was actually a setup, because a lot of people gained from MJ's death as opposed to what they would have received if he was alive. Apparently, the people who wanted so badly to benefit from the death even faked MJ's will just to make sure they were in control of everything. Well, as much as there have been all these rumors about MJ's death being planned, there have also been allegations that he is in fact still alive. Allegedly, a border officer even saw Michael Jackson crossing the border from California to Mexico. But to date, not a single person in Mexico has seen MJ yet. Maybe it's a bit far-fetched to assume he is alive, but let me know, what do you think? Do you believe his death was a well-planned setup? And who is at the top of your suspects list? Sound off in the comments section below.
I mean, yeah, realistically speaking, there were actually a lot of facts provided in this video itself. You know, it wasn't just allegations of what Michael Jackson maybe said about the person. Like, we saw videos of Michael Jackson literally speaking out against Sony. There was just a lot provided in this video right here. So comment down below what you guys think about this right here. Make sure you do smash the like button, subscribe if you are new, turn on post notifications so you can catch when I post another video for you guys. I'm going to catch you in the next one the same way you're going to catch me in the next one. Peace. Love y'all.